So today we have my good buddy Wesley Krombel from Wallingford, Connecticut. He is going to be going over how he is a master of his small business highlights and micro. What do you call that? Micro community management. Micro management. What do you call it, Wes?
Just being the digital mayor of your town.
Yeah, that works. Okay, we'll use that one. Okay. So Wes, get us started here. Well, tell us a little bit how you got into real estate.
Uh, Long story short, I got into real estate because I met a guy working at another job and I saw that he was doing really well. And I just said one day, what do you do? And he said, I do real estate. And I had this aha moment, even though I had no idea what I was getting into. And I think the next day I signed up for classes. I just kind of uh, overly focused on it. And yeah, the rest is history, and I just really fell in love with it. I was always comfortable with camera stuff or social media, and I think I've been able to lean into that in the past few years. That has definitely helped my business quite a bit. So that's why we're kind of here today, and I'll be happy to share a bit of small story success as to what I've had and things that you can all apply in your own markets.
And you're like, how old are you, Wes? You're like 28, right?
I am 28. I'm getting married in October. Um, I'm getting locked up. But yeah, I some would probably say I'm still on the younger side, but
Hey, that's
um,
impressive. You have a whole team. Like, how big's your team now?
small. I have a team of three.
Yep.
I do have my own team within my brokerage, which again is another story for another time, but I kind of accidentally became a team. And yeah, I if you told me 5 years ago that I'd be in this position, I would have said bullshit.
Yeah, no, you're crushing it. I can see it all the time. I can see all the awards you're winning and everything. So, okay, so get us started here. How did you get started in video kind of marketing? Like, I see you do funny videos, you do serious videos, you do small business highlights. Let's delve into that a little.
Yeah, so I think the perfect summary, and this isn't like the answer, it's just what I found for my comfort zone is, a lot of people have content block or writer's block of like, what should I be posting or what do I feel comfortable posting? And for me, it always comes down to these three pillars. One is business. Two, well, sorry, business slash education. So edutainment, some people call it. Number two is comedy, and number three is personal. And if you go on to any of my social media stuff and you go to any of my posts, you can pretty much look at any of my posts and be like, oh, this one is probably under the bucket of personal, or this one's under the bucket of education. And I just think it's a good variety of both hitting the people that again love comedy and just want to follow you because they might think you're funny, and two, you're also getting serious followers if they are interested in your educational aspect. So I'm trying to balance the whole thing, and some people would disagree with that because I know people say get your niche and just hammer home your niche, like Rich is a good example on the call who just hammers home parodies now, and he's known for parodies now. And I could have like just done a comedy thing or just done education, but I decided to keep it a variety so I could keep my viewership as broad as possible.
You're also a naturally good speaker. So I think it would have been a waste if you just did the comedy route. Like when you speak, you're very well spoken. Like people want to listen to you. You're very like your educational videos are something I've actually tried to copy myself a little bit. I make my own. I do funny stuff, right? So I've kind of mixed in my own humor with them. But yeah, your educational videos are great. I find.
I appreciate that very much, but I definitely want people to watch this and be like, if this schmuck can do it, so can I. And I don't mean to downgrade myself, but I stutter at times. I have to redo lines a bajillion times. Like when you say that I'm a great speaker, I think, wow, that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. So
I thought
thank you for that. But what's that?
thought you were calling me a schmuck there.
Uh, I feel like I'm looking into a mirror at times, but
Yeah. Yeah, so you prepared a few
um,
slides for us today, right? To help kind of show us what you've been doing.
yes, I have a few quick slides. Let me see here. Share screen. And this is just like examples of, once again, what I want someone, if they're watching this for 20, 30 minutes, watch these slides real quick and take at least one of them and just implement them. And there's two quick things I want to say. Um, Number one, I want today to be like more of a discussion, meaning like if anyone else on this call sees something that I'm talking about, or thinks I have a better idea, or not only this, but could you add this? I'm all for it. These are not like the golden answers. These are just things that I've been accustomed to doing that have been successful for me. So I want this to be like a brainstorm session. And number two, I kind of just touched on this. I'm no better than anyone on the call. I am just any other regular dude that just is consistent with a couple of specific things with my business that, again, has me on the call here today that I can talk about and hopefully share to you guys that will help you in your own business.
He's well,
Um,
he's better than all of us.
Thanks, Sean.
Kristen, I'm
um,
on my phone, so I won't see hands raised. So, Kristen, can you chime in, or BA, if someone has a question?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the chats at all because I'm on my phone.
so I broke down 6 things that I think will help grow your brand. And again, things that I have done that have helped me significantly. And I'm just going to jump right into it. So, number one, support and highlight local businesses. A lot of the ideas that I'm sharing today, you probably are like, oh, yeah, I have thought of that before. But these are just ideas to kind of remind you or just get consistent with a couple of them. So, for those that do follow me or have seen my content, you are probably familiar that I do something recently called a small business highlight series. This is something I thought about doing last year where I just, I feel like it's a very trendy thing to like be on TikTok or Instagram and go into like a restaurant and film some quick pans and stuff and then put music behind it and boom, you have thousands and thousands of views. And I wasn't trying to copy that, but I thought, how do I just put my own twist to it? And so with that, I said, let me make it more of a vlog style. I want people to live vicariously through me going through whatever business I'm going into, rather than just pans of the place saying, oh, that looks like a cool wall. So that's how I put my own twist to it. But it doesn't have to just be that. Once again, this is however and whatever you want to make it. Um, some other ideas I thought of that people might want to do other than this are things like coffee for questions. I've known a couple agents that have done this in my town where they go to a local coffee shop and they say, I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee if you ask me one question about real estate. And, it can add up to a pretty penny if you don't watch out, but it's a great way just to start conversations and get face to face familiar with people in town. I definitely urge to consistently share, follow, and tag any social media accounts of businesses that you're familiar with, that maybe you've talked to, you've done small business highlights of, whatever it may be. Because it's one thing to walk into a business once, highlight it, and then walk away, and then say, thanks, that was great. But to really keep that connection. And again, I've actually gotten some business now from business owners that have started with, hey, can I do a small business highlight for you guys?
Wes,
You can also, yes, sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just was waiting for a pause. Yeah, that was a
Please
great
do.
question. That was a great question. Or what you just talked about, how you got business from the business owners, because I've gotten similar things like that. I've gotten business from the actual business owner. Are you making this more about the business owners and the business itself, or like your community kind of thing? Are you trying to get business? Which one are you focused more on when you make these?
Um, to be honest, I'm doing it with a true good heart on just wanting to support my town because I'm doing it with a little bit of a good karma hope that, hey, I'm here doing this. I'm one of probably the most annoyingly number one Wallingford supporters. Like people, I think, get annoyed with how much I love Wallingford, but oh well. And so I do it mainly to really just support the business in hopes that I can build a friendship and connections and people, are hopefully indirectly seeing it and then saying, "Oh, I need to check this page," and "Oh, he's a realtor. I need to buy something soon."
Yeah, you're
So that's
definitely
kind of the mentality behind it.
you definitely put Wallingford on the map. I've never heard of Wallingford until, and I like it rolls off the tongue, Wallingford.
Yeah, it's so my town is about 45,000 people. So to people on the
Right.
call that may have way less than that, then great. You have it really easy because you're probably going to be able to touch base with everyone in your town a lot easier to take control of your town. And two, if you have way more people, like I think of some of you in California and Toronto, you have that many more businesses to go after. Like I only have so many. You guys have a couple million people in your metro geographic areas.
And you get some of these businesses to give you discounts for like your when you're handing out flyers and stuff because you've been promoting them. So you're like they're helping you grow your business as well in that sense, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna tie that in. I forget if it's the next slide or the one after, but
Okay,
there's a way that
I'll
I'm
know then. I just didn't want to forget the question.
yeah, basically just to finalize on this page here, the biggest thing that I can emphasize is on the bottom, get to know the workers or owners because once again, going and doing a video or whatever it may be, like a highlight or a collab with them is one thing, but to really stay in touch, like that's building the connections and beyond the networking of just one time hello and goodbye. So, were there any questions on this page?
Yeah, by the way, guys, I'm gonna those mini videos I'm making, if you guys ask questions, I'm gonna try and incorporate you guys with your questions into them too. So yeah, you'll be on my mini little clips on Instagram if you ask questions.
Yeah, and Rich made a comment, big cities like mine would probably be best to focus on few neighborhoods. Yeah, so like once again, big metro areas that have essentially towns within like the larger metro area. Great. Become the king at that like area of your town. Um, Number two, be active on your community forums. Again, this isn't me trying to like showboat or brag. I'm just trying to show examples of things that I've done. Um, if you don't have a community forum, which I feel like most towns and places do, you can create one. Uh, Dan, who's from Florida, is a great example. He's from Sarasota, and that dude nails it. Like, I can't think of Sarasota, Florida without thinking of Dan. So that's like a good example of someone who made their own forum page and just rocks it and just same thing, highlights his area, people flock to it. Mine does exist, so just join them. There's probably a few. Join them all. It's free. And a couple of ideas that I've done. I mean, I'll do a video highlight on the town, things to do. Once again, trying to attract people what they can and why they would want to come to Wallingford. I do fun things like Q&As during town events. Again, I don't have a ton of people where I could walk down the street like New York and just grab anyone on like a Tuesday afternoon. So during events, I'll go out, I'll bring a mic, I'll just ask fun questions. If it's about like a food event, you know, which restaurant do you prefer over the other, or something like that, like a fun thing like that.
I love those
Um,
because they're actually entertaining outside of Wallingford as well. Like you're getting the businesses, the local people, and you're getting like it's still entertaining to watch. So I
a
watch
hundred, 100%.
no idea what the hell. Sorry, I watch those videos and I have no idea what the hell the restaurant is or who these people are, but I still enjoy you doing the interviews.
And it shows your personal side. Like for people who maybe only know you from a business aspect, it kind of opens you up to be just a bit more personal, which I think is strong with connections.
Big,
And then just a couple other ideas, like Easter this past year, I think I spent, I don't know, like $50 by putting money in eggs and I hid them in downtown. I took close-up photos of each one and I posted them. And I'm like, hey guys, to the community, happy Easter. And then I put my card in there too. Again, just like a quick marketing thing, and people loved it. And I'm going to do it even bigger next year. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the last thing,
yeah,
if you're walking downtown, just post a picture of like the sunset or something nice, or if there's a business coming, something positive.
like giving. I
People,
like that, like the Easter egg hunt. You're not looking for emails. You're just kind of like giving the community with getting your name out there. It's just providing service, kind of.
I literally want to be able to get to a point where I can go into a house and someone's like, I know all about you because I've already seen your stuff. You're on the forum. It's like they already know me, and it's a little bit of a slow play versus, aggressive cold calling on leads, on numbers you're getting through Zillow and things like that. But that's my game plan. I'd rather build the authentic connection than to try and prove my worth to someone that I bought their phone number off of a lead or something.
And
Actually, sorry to interrupt you guys. I see Andrew's got his hand up.
Yeah, I got a question. Wes, what's your time commitment to this? How are you shooting them? Do you like, I'm assuming you have help because I see some images, like it's being shot by someone else. What equipment are you
Yep.
using? How often are you doing this?
Yep. So I'll have a little bit more to share on some future slides, but I would say overall, um, I edit the majority of my content. I have a little bit of a perfectionist mindset that I'm trying to get over and hand stuff off to a video editor. And there are great ones for those who are like, I would never touch video editing. Look on things like Fiverr, Upwork. There are some really good guys that, aren't even in the country that are really good at doing pretty simple things. Um, I shoot most of my stuff, or a lot of the town stuff that I post, I'm shooting. And then as for like my higher end stuff, I do have a video guy that I just went to high school with. He just kind of picked up a camera and we've just been learning together. And as for the camera type he has a nice camera. It's like a Canon or something nice. But other than that nice piece of equipment, I'm not really doing anything crazy with whistles or bells or production of any kind. And I try and say that in the sense of like, I don't want people to watch this who haven't tried this or want to do this but feel nervous to. Just start somewhere. My first video was not pretty. But once I did my first five, my sixth one was a bit better, and my seventh one was better. And again, I always tell people I learned from other people. So if they have questions on something I did, DM me, contact me. I'm happy to share how I did something.
where are
Does
you?
that answer your question?
Oh, sorry, Andrew. You good?
Yeah, yeah, we're all good. Thanks.
Cool.
Welcome, Andrew. I, oh, I call him Andy. Um, where are you putting these forums? Are they like Facebook business pages? Are you starting Instagram groups about your community? Freaking magazines? What is it?
Yep. So this example is mainly on Facebook. I'm actually big on Facebook for the fact that I feel like a little bit of an older generation on there, honestly, versus like TikTok and Instagram. So I have a lot of good like connections with like a lot of friends' parents on there. But same thing for Instagram. Like if I'm gonna post something like this on Instagram, I'm gonna tag all of my forum type people on there. Like we have a couple pages that are called like I Love Wallingford, Connecticut or Wallingford Center Inc. Those are all things that I'm tagging because what I'm doing is content that they probably want or like to share anyways. Why not share it with them as well? And if they share it, then again, that's just getting my name and my brand in front of another, few thousand people, depending who's following them. So yes, always tag people that are relevant to it. I'm good to go on to my third one, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, mic off.
Okay.
Yeah, gold. Love it. Thank you.
So my third one, this is an idea that I have done a few times now. Host a home buyer or home seller seminar. These can be awesome, and I've done two or three of these now. I do them about every 6 months, and I usually get about 10 to 15 people that show up, and it's not something that people are just showing up to like waste their own time. Like I get all their information, and I've had clients turn into closed clients on every single one that I've done. And a couple of quick tips that I do that make them really successful. I like to do, first off, a collab where I have a lender, an attorney, an inspector. If I'm doing a home buyer thing, if it's a home seller, I might do like a financial advisor, an accountant. And then it allows to be like a team thing that you can come together where the cost isn't on you. So normally we rent a local room, we get pizza or some food, and we all throw in like one raffle prize. And it's like $150 a person. And again, if you close one person from that deal, you know you're making money on that. So it's just a great way to once again do an event, build your brand, get some leads, at least get some people's information, email, and things like that. And one of the big tips that I'll say is if you do this and you have raffle prizes, give a raffle ticket for every time someone asks a question. That way it really boosts engagement. And usually we can't even present half the time because people are just asking questions, which is exactly what we want. So big push for you guys to do one of these if you have not.
How do you advertise it to
And
get so many people to come?
um I don't boost stuff normally, but these I do. So I'll put like 75 or $100 for like a couple weeks behind like a Facebook post and then just do like a geographic area of 15, 20 miles. I then create a link on Eventbrite where people can register and it just looks more official and formal and like legit rather than just like a Facebook event, which I still do, but I do it through Eventbrite normally.
Awesome.
Rich has his hand up.
Hey, Wes, you said you put ads behind this. How do you get around special category? Like I've tried to like put ads on things for seminars, and Facebook and Instagram both say it has to go out basically out to the entire country, 18 to 65, and that doesn't really work for these seminars.
Yeah, so I can't speak to if California has any different kind of regulations. All I know is that you have to say that it's for housing, and the only thing you're allowed to say is like the parameter of what you want to hit, meaning you have to hit everybody of all age, of all demographic, but you can say, I don't want it to hit people more than 25 miles away or something like that. So I usually just pin needle it that way. And, I can usually get it in front of like, it says it's getting in front of like 10,000 people. But I usually pick up a handful of people that way.
Do you do it through Facebook ad tools?
Yes. Or to be honest, even just more simple, I usually post it and then I go back and in the corner it says, do you want to boost this post? And I say, yeah. So I don't even know if I'm doing it the most efficient way. I just know that I can at least choose how far from my town I can have the sphere go.
All right. Yeah,
Maybe
I guess in California, like they don't allow you to pin.
they won't allow you to say like within 15 miles.
No, not that I've been able to figure out yet.
The other thing that I will say as a tip for advertising, and I will say the lender that I've worked with on doing this is great at it. She'll take a Sunday afternoon and she'll walk up and down a couple of the main streets with like 50 flyers and just walk into a business and say, do you mind if I post this as an advertisement? It might like we'll shout you out or something. That's a good way of at least getting kind of free-ish advertising as well. Or maybe putting an ad in like the local, I don't know, paper, especially if it's a home seller one that you're doing. Then I figure, on average, you maybe are dealing with a little bit older people that are probably still reading the paper, specifically digital paper. I know that the digital paper are things that people still are like, it's like the holy grail for certain people. So that's just another idea.
Cool.
And I hope California makes it a bit more lenient for you.
Slides when you're done. I want to post them to the Facebook group. They're great.
What's that?
Will you send me these slides when you're done? I want to post them to the Facebook group.
He already sent them to us.
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I'll shut up.
I wasn't going to throw him under the bus, but Christian did. All right. Number 4, market yourself differently. I kind of touched on this earlier. a lot of the ideas I get for videos or for just posts of any kind, it's not like I'm just sitting here and I'm this genius coming up with these ideas from nowhere. I'm usually just seeing someone else in a different market doing it, and I think, wow, I found this entertaining, or I found this funny. How do I do my own twist on it? And that's kind of what I'm showing here with just 3 random marketing pieces that I've sent out. So one is a market update. I feel like this is the most generic thing that realtors send out. What's going on with the market? Here's the numbers. And to be honest, the consumers, half of them don't give a shit. And number 2, the other half don't know what it means. So what I like to do is add a little bit of value to them. And I'm open to ideas here, but something that I've done is I'll repurpose my small business highlights. I'll go back to that business if I built great rapport with them and say, look, I'm willing to put a $5 coupon on if they spend like $20, and they can come in and say, hey, Wes told me to come here, or something like that. And then that QR code can be scanned and it goes directly to my website with the business highlight. Just an idea that I've had to incorporate that and spice up the market update a bit. And they told me that they had quite a few people go in with that coupon. So the only difference I would make is the business actually said, don't make it a coupon, just make it say Wes sent you, or Kristen sent you, or Sean sent you, because that then makes them have to remember your name and it builds your name recognition more.
That's so smart.
Yeah. So next time I'm not even going to do the coupon. I'm just going to say, tell them Wes sent you for $5 off. Just a couple other really small ideas that I've had here. Again, like a just sold is another really generic thing that realtors send out. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't send them. I'm just saying I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I'm big on drone photography and videography, which I have a drone. It's a fun toy for me. And I just use those photos and I post it and I send it to the nearest 100 homes in that neighborhood. And I say, you're not going to believe how I sold your neighbor's home. And then I say nothing else. I'm basically enticing them to be like, even if they don't want to know, I want them to be like, what the fuck is this? Like what's on this QR code? And then once again, that'll scan to a video or something that's on my website that then trails them in and things like that. And then lastly, I have a happy St. Patrick's Day. This is a staple of mine. I send this to every single client I have ever worked with. It gets bigger every year. And I go out and I get dollar scratchers. I put them in where the lottery thing I put here. And I just write, I am so fortunate to have had you as a past client. Now it's your turn to have a chance at being just as lucky. And I just slot it in there. And then on the bottom, I say, do you know anyone that needs the same great service as I gave you? So it's a great way to touch base with your SOI at a great time of year as you're going into the spring market. And I've done this for 3 years now, and I have gotten at least one referral every single year. And I'm spending, I think, $200 between postage, cards, and the lotto tickets.
Honestly, they're so genius. I've been doing them for 15 years now, and I do it every year no matter what. I send it out at the end of February, and my phone rings off the hook. I spend about $2,500 a year doing it now. And they're like so smart. People, if they don't have their scratch ticket like the day before St. Patrick's Day, people are messaging me asking if I forgot them this year.
Yeah, it's just a great way to sort of like give a gift too. Like it really, like, no one is expecting anything for St. Patrick's Day, and the fact that you're there to remember them and recognize them is special. So those are one of my favorite things. Any questions on this? We only have 2 more. I'm talking a bit more than I thought I was gonna.
I have a quick question. What's your average monthly cost on flyering, roughly, do you think?
I'm spending about $500 to $750 a month.
Yes, so
Some
that's
would
pretty,
say that that's, Yeah, I mean, you're talking maybe eight-ish thousand dollars, but again, depending on a house that I sell, I might make that back all in one. So that's how I look at it. I'm not like this big, humongous team where I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars on marketing and stuff. I just look at when I spend my money and I say, am I likely to get a referral from this? And if I get one, am I just about paid off? And if the answer is yes to both of those questions, it's usually the right thing to do.
Amen.
All right, number 5. This is really getting involved with your community. Sponsor and support a nonprofit or charity. There's a couple things I do a year, and I really want to preface, you have to actually be passionate or enjoy either the people you're doing it with or like what you're doing or feel good about it. Um, I feel like some people do this for like clout purposes or whatever you call it, if that's the right word. But I genuinely enjoy getting to help the community, and it feels like a runner's high at the end of helping out. So I've joined like a local nonprofit that is called Family Business, and I sponsor a couple of programs that they do throughout the year. I adopt a family through them every year. We do like meal programs throughout the summer, and this is just a good thing. I know some people might be thinking, how is this real estate related? And in some ways, it's maybe not directly, but I sponsor my business name on their shirts on the back. I still share this to my business page. Again, it's showing the personal rapport that I'm not just this robotic business that posts generic stuff and talks about generic things. I try and be as personal as possible. And sometimes even just like we have a semi-annual trash pickup day in town that's huge for me. It just feels so great to make that kind of a difference. And it just really, like, maybe it's just me, but I get a high off of doing good like that from time to time. So I definitely encourage you. There's got to be many charities in your local areas. If I have many within a 45,000 person town, just join one or sit down with one and say, how can I help? And before you know it, I can almost guarantee there's going to be people that you're working with or a way that you're going to be able to, sponsor it where your branding will be on it. And that's how I've tied it back in as just kind of being a whole figure here. So I really wanted to include that as part of a thing here. And then my last thing to promote and build yourself as a digital mayor is create a local blog. And once again, this can be about anything you want to do. I've tried to put a plethora of things that I've done, whether it be a zoning update in town, a fun info bite on the oldest house in my town. There's an underwater town in Connecticut. It's actually pretty cool. And then a local business highlight as well. I post these on my website that I then share on the forums. I'll share on my pages. And again, it's both trying to grow my brand and have people coming to my website or my sphere of some sort while enjoying a content piece that I've created. And ideas for this could be real estate history, relevant town events or improvements, any business highlights, local real estate data, or step-by-step seller and buyer guides. So I had to include that here as well. And I do have a bonus page if I'm not just rattling off with my words here. So bonus tip ideas. I think Andrew had a question earlier where he said, how am I shooting these? Definitely batch your content if you can. It is just so much more efficient. I don't think this is like a brand new idea, but Chris Benjamin, who a lot of us know, was big on this. And I'm like, maybe I should start to batch. If you're going to shoot a video for like an info bite or you're just going to shoot something, try and think of a second or third idea that you could also shoot and just shoot it right after you're done. And before you know it, you're going to have 3 pieces of content or 3 videos that you now have rather than just the one. VIP client groups on Facebook. I've created a private VIP client group. Whenever I close with someone, I invite them to it and I share all personal info. Like if there's a new uh, tax credit or something in town that gets passed, I'll share that as like an exclusive. Hey, in case you guys didn't see, here's how to take advantage of this. I also give away frequent like local Dunkin' Donuts gift cards where randomly one morning I'll post a QR code and say, "Hey, here's $50. Whoever can get there first and enjoy the next 12 cups of coffee, that's on me." It's just a great way to continue holding that sphere of yours that you've closed and keeping them like within your family, because I'm a big believer on, if you help a buyer close a house and they then don't use you to sell that house, whether it's 1 year, 10 years, 20 years down the road, and you're still a realtor, you did something wrong. And so this is just one thing that I do to really make sure that it's not just like, hey, you close, goodbye, enjoy. This is like, you're with me. And one of my things is, once a client, always a friend. And then the last thing, this is just a random tip that I just felt was really important and it's been really beneficial for me. I definitely have like ADHD problems at times where I can't focus on something for too long. And it definitely hurts my business on days. And so this recent tip has been really helpful for those that have the same issues. It's called the do, doing, done list. For those who haven't heard it, it's you create all the things you have to do in one column. You have your doing column of the things you're doing, and then of course your done list, all the things that you've completed. The only rule is you can only have two things in your doing list at any given time. So I found myself starting 18 different things at once and then never finishing any of them because I was always starting something new. And this has been a great way to kind of keep me on point with making sure I get stuff done. So I've talked a lot.
Where,
Thank
where do
you
you
for that. What's that?
get that
Yo,
list? Fridge.
yo, my hand's raised.
Hey, Dan.
Huh? Sorry, I can't see the hands. Okay, you go first.
Hi, Wes. How are you doing? Can
Good, Dan. I'm
you?
doing super well.
This was awesome. You did really well, and you are killing the community stuff, and I absolutely love it. You are doing awesome. Can you go over a little bit about that last? I was halfway listening, and I don't know if everybody else was halfway listening or fully listening. Can I hear that last part about your buckets, and where you learned that in a little bit more? Because I fall into the category of I take on way too much, and I'm always doing that. So this actually sounded super intriguing to me. So I'd love for you to, maybe you were rushing through it, but I heard it and I was like, I gotta fucking listen to this. Ooh, language. So yeah, go over that. It's Canada, right? We're good.
Yeah. So this I actually learned from my coach recently. I do Tom Ferry coaching at the moment. And just like you probably, Dan, I started way too many things and I was never completing them because I just was always starting something. So you create three columns. You have all the things you have to do in one column. Of course, all the things that you've done in the done column. And you can only have two things at any given time in your doing list. So if there are two things in your doing list, you can't start anything else. You have to finish one of those things before you drag it over into the done list. And then you can bring over a new to-do thing into your doing column. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. So it basically, you have a list of to do, doing, and done. Sorry, my hand was not there. To do, doing, done, whatever.
It
That's very,
basically, yeah, basically
is
forces
there a
you
list
that.
of how many things you can have on the to do?
No, you can have a bajillion things, but and maybe it depends on what your exact issue with staying focused on things is, but for me, it's I'll start 10 different things before I complete one. And
No,
I
I love
think
this.
I'm
This is
being,
awesome.
yeah, where I think I'm being productive, but I'm really not because I'm not finishing anything. I'm just only starting things. And this keeps you accountable to having to finish something before you start something else.
I think that everyone struggles with that. So I think that this is a really cool thing to even just write down on your to-do list during a day. Like, it's really powerful. So thanks for sharing
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
I love that idea. I do something similar where I just write it on, like it's on my fridge, and I kind of as I'm doing it. But I like this idea better.
Yeah, like this is what my stuff used to look like. I can't see my own screen, but I used to just have long lists like this crap. And
So it's a do list, a do, and a done list.
Yep. So you could write as many things you have to do in your to-do list,
Got
but
it.
you can only work on two things at any given time. So you can only have two things in your doing list that you've dragged over from your to-do list.
I think Warren Buffett says like list number 1 through 25 of the top 25 things you need to do. Circle the top 5, throw the other 20 away.
Yeah. Because what's going to happen is, you have to do 1 through 5, and yet you're still going to go meander off and do 6, 7, 8, just because.
We should just do
But
a
that's
mastermind for people with ADHD one day that take on too much, because I feel like there's a lot of us in this group
I
right
wonder
now
if
that
like
can
good realtors are just everyone that's in real estate just has ADHD.
It's
I believe
possible.
almost everybody in here probably does that I know of.
Yeah.
Best idea. Brilliant. Make the clips.
I just don't know who would interview Sean, because he'd probably have to be the guest on that.
Yeah, I think there's a fly in the room. We're done. That interview's over.
So yeah, these were the ideas that I wanted to share. Once again, I don't expect these to be mind-blowing tips and ideas, but I hope there's at least something from here that you can take away from this and say, I'm going to go focus on this right now. And yeah,
Like I am writing ideas right now.
we'll be able to brainstorm some more in Dallas.
Yeah. No, this is really, really good, man. I mean it.
Did you find it? Can I? Oh, Sean, you gonna say something?
No, come on in.
I'm in. I'm inside. Wes, did you find it hard to get those buyer/seller events going? That sounds horrifying. Like I think you posted one a while ago, and I was like, "Holy crap, that would be terrifying!" Just like, and I can talk to anybody. I'll do that, but it's just like it's the idea of like planning an event that is, let's be honest, it's dry as hell, and the content is super dry, and you're trying to make it exciting. And who the hell, even if you want to sell your home, even if you're going to make 100K or you're going to buy a home and make it your dream, it's still super dry. And so I commend you, and the fact that you actually get people makes me even more intrigued on it. And I just think that's wild because it is super dry, and it's when I saw it, it literally gave me like, oh shit, like how's he gonna pull that off? So I commend you, but I'd love to know like how's that work out?
It definitely was nerve-wracking the first time, but I think that's why we spruced it up as one, not like a super businessy kind of thing. We almost wanted it to be like a giveaway event, which is why we spruced it up with food and why we spruced it up with raffle prizes. And we actually all pitched in and did a door prize of like a 50-inch flat screen TV. So once again, like we're only chipping in like $150 each. You can get a nice TV for like $250 on Amazon. Um, and we really just kind of pushed that. Like I did the boost on Facebook to try and get people that didn't follow me to see it. We gave flyers out to businesses. I spend about a week beforehand, I spend about an hour just going through I actually go onto my personal Instagram page and I go to all my friends that follow me there and I just send them a very light, hey, like just as non-salesy chalant as possible. Like, hey, just in case, you're looking for a meal with a potential raffle prize winning and you want to learn about maybe buying a home at some point, great. And this is free. There's no obligation. I'm here to pass out free information because this is something I love doing. And at some point you're going to need to know how to do this. So yeah, that's normally how I'm doing it. And the first time I did it, I got 17 people to show up, and they were all legit people, like no one that
That's
was just
insane.
being a piece of crap. And then the second one, we tried doing it on a weekend morning, and we got a little bit less people, and we thought maybe people didn't want to get out of bed. So we found success doing it on like a Thursday night after people get out of work. And yeah, people liked it quite a bit. So
That's
I'll
awesome.
definitely be doing more.
There's another agent in my local selling area that does financial literacy for teens, sort of the same way you do buyer seminars, and he's been getting a ton of people come out to them. He says he does it quarterly, and he usually gets between 20 and 30 like teenage kids out to them. Their parents send them, and they all end up parents signing on with Dan as their agent, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and I would say what also makes it easier is by including other industry people. Like you can see here on the slides, if you can make them out, I had for the buyer ones, I had a lender, an attorney, an inspector, and an insurance agent. So it does take a little bit of the like nerves out of it in the sense of like, hey, we're in this together. So it's not like just you that's running the show. I definitely found that a bit better.
Teaming up with other people definitely helps with cost. Like me, BA, and Kristen are all splitting the videos for these and all that too. So yeah, it's a great idea.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Yep.
Wes, have you ever pivoted to webinars or just sticking to in-person seminars?
I've done webinars before when COVID first hit and everyone was like, holy shit, are we going to lose our jobs? I did a webinar that was pretty successful. And again, I think I had about 20 people on during that call, and it was just me and a lender. And it was specifically like the step-by-step process on buying a home, where like these seminars are usually a little bit more generic in the sense of like, I don't want to go into too much detail because, as we all know, we could talk about how to write a contract for 3 hours and how to make it the best possible or argue over a certain contingency. So I try and keep the in-person ones a little bit more generic while hoping that people ask the specific questions or unknowns that they hear about or the reason why they came. Which is why when we do the raffle prizes, you only get a raffle prize or ticket for every question that you ask. So it really forces people to be engaged. And I kid you not, the times that we've done it recently, we go in saying, oh, I'm going to talk about this, this, and this, and then you don't talk about half of it because you're just there answering questions, which is the best thing possible.
Actually, Jamie just made a comment in the chat, which is slightly a little bit away from the seminar idea, but she said she's heard of people investing in margarita machines or stand-up popcorn machines and lending them out to people and clients for events and having the machines branded to the agent. That's a good idea.
Ooh,
That's
yes.
huge.
Or even doing like an ice cream social pairing with like a local ice cream shop or something, saying, hey, can I have 20 people in here? And then you can go and say, hey, we have limited seats. You know, you really start to make your event sound like
Elite.
VIP.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Tom Ferry can do it with his tickets, why can't we do it with our home buying seminar?
The truck for my friend who runs one, and a building I was selling, I waited outside for people to come out, and I had my coffee cups branded.
Yeah.
John
Or even
Hortons?
What?
Were they branded Sean Hortons?
Yeah, Sean Horton.
That's
$1.
a great idea.
Yeah.
Bless you.
but
Oh,
yeah,
that was a cough. We're good.
I would say just like the biggest thing, because I still do the same thing. If somehow someone sees me do something that they want to know how I did it, or they're like, what did you do? Just please message me. I'll be happy to share it. And I'm probably going to be asking you how you did something a week later. So that's honestly the biggest way that I have learned in this industry And a lot of it is from a lot of the people that are on this call, is things I've seen you guys do. I take a small bite-sized chunk of that and I say, how do I make it about Wallingford now, or how do I make it with my own twist? So definitely don't be afraid to reach out to anybody if you ever see something that they do that's like, that was dope.
Awesome. Well, Wes, this was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us today. I feel like all of us in this group are always watching you, and you are like the number one person that I think of when it comes to community-based marketing. So I feel like you're the perfect person to come on and chat with us about it today.